Hi, welcome to the new Hire Series module on Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, or IDD for short. Here are some key takeaways you will gain from this training. A general understanding of IDD, best practices for interactions, the differences between non-apparent and apparent disabilities, and a look at IDD's history of advocacy. You will also watch short videos and engage in a role-play scenario, along the way. Let's get started. So, what is IDD? IDD stands for Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, a broad term that includes different conditions affecting learning, communication, and daily life skills. Now think of disabilities as a big umbrella. Under this umbrella, there are intellectual disabilities, or ID, and developmental disabilities, or DD. There are many types of physical and cognitive disabilities under this umbrella, but let's discuss the two categories that Best Buddies supports. An intellectual disability, or ID, specifically means someone has challenges with learning, reasoning, problem-solving, and everyday social and practical skills. Some examples of intellectual disabilities are Down syndrome, Fragile X and Williams syndrome. A developmental disability, or DD, is a broad term that includes different lifelong conditions, including intellectual disabilities. Some examples of developmental disabilities are autism, cerebral palsy, and Angelman syndrome. It's important to note that some disabilities may overlap, meaning they can be present in both intellectual and developmental categories. For example, autism can be both a developmental and intellectual disability, as it impacts both learning abilities and social interactions. Next, let's watch a quick video about IDD.
A developmental disability involves one or more chronic impairments to physical ability, learning, language, or behavior. Developmental disabilities begin before birth or during childhood, typically known as the developmental period. They then usually last throughout a person's lifetime. Developmental disabilities include intellectual disabilities such as Down syndrome. The category also includes physical disabilities like cerebral palsy. Other developmental disabilities include spina bifida, autism spectrum disorder, vision impairment, and hearing loss. What all these have in common is that they are caused by complications during the developmental period, such as prenatal infection or environmental exposure. Another commonality is that they may impact a person's day-to-day functioning. People with developmental disabilities contribute to the workforce and to their communities in diverse and important ways. Through empowerment and advocacy, we learn the importance of making people with developmental disabilities feel welcome, included, and heard in the workplace.
Just like everyone else, people with IDD have strengths, challenges, and unique talents. Some individuals may have apparent disabilities, while others have non-apparent disabilities that are not immediately noticeable. Non-apparent disabilities such as cognitive processing differences and sensory sensitivities can impact daily life in significant ways. When interacting with someone who has a non-apparent disability, it's important to be patient, flexible, and respectful. Avoid making assumptions about their abilities and instead offer support based on their individual needs. Providing clear communication, offering choices, and being open to accommodations such as extra processing time or alternative ways to complete tasks can help create a more inclusive and understanding environment for everyone. You don't need to be an expert on IDD, but having a basic understanding is essential. In your role at Best Buddies, you'll engage with a diverse range of people, including individuals with IDD and others without IDD, such as donors and volunteers. At some point, you may be asked, what is IDD? Knowing the answer will help you confidently navigate conversations, build meaningful connections, and provide inclusive, informed support. Engaging with individuals with IDD happens in many ways at Best Buddies through participation in specialized programs. Events, trainings, and conferences designed to foster inclusion and connection. Check out this reel from our annual leadership conference where leaders, volunteers, and advocates from around the world come together to drive the future of inclusion. This is just one example of how our employees engage with participants. hop in our imaginary time machine. Back in the day, people with IDD weren't treated fairly. They were often excluded from schools, workplaces, and even their communities. But thanks to advocacy, laws, and organizations like Best Buddies, we have made huge progress. Let's review some key milestones in advocacy for IDD. In 1975, the Education for All Handicapped Children Act was passed. Schools began to include students with disabilities. In 1990, the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, was passed. This law made discrimination against individuals with disabilities illegal and created opportunities for them in jobs, education, and public life. Today, inclusion and self-advocacy is the future. Best Buddies is helping build friendships, careers, and independence for people with IDD. For a detailed timeline, check out our resource page referenced at the end of this module. Now let's put our knowledge to the test with a quick game, myth or fact. Play along with our quirky avatars and see if you can separate the myths from the facts about IDD.
Hi there.
Hi.
So let's begin. Is this a myth or a fact? People with IDD can't live independently.
That's a myth. Many people with IDD have jobs, homes, and drive, just like you do.
That's correct.
Now it's my turn. Myth or fact? People with IDD don't understand what's going on around them.
That is a myth. They understand a lot. Communication just looks different for everyone.
You are right.
Okay, now it's my turn. Myth or fact? People with IDD don't want friendships or relationships.
That's definitely a myth. Everyone wants connection, just like you.
Yes, that's correct, and I agree.
Now that you have a better understanding of IDD basics, let's talk about how you can make a difference at Best Buddies. Remember to always be a patient listener. Everyone communicates differently, so pay attention and be patient. Respect independence. Support and empower them, but don't do everything for them. They got this. Use person-first or identity-first language to show respect for individuals. Before assuming, check with the person on their preference. For example, some may prefer a person with autism, while others identify as an autistic person. And most importantly, have fun. Be inclusive, be kind, and be yourself. Still wondering how big of a difference you can make? Let's hear it straight from our Best Buddies community. Let's watch one final video featuring some of our ambassadors, participants, staff, and board members.
Okay, here we go.
Everybody needs somebody.
A friend.
Somebody who knows.
What makes you laugh?
How you feel about football?
Movies.
Singing.
Life.
Somebody who always has your back.
A real friend.
A best buddy.
But sometimes it can be hard for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities
To make friends.
That's why we started Best Buddies.
Across America.
and around the world.
Best Buddies matches people like me.
Like me.
Like me.
With people like me. Like me.
Like me. To create one-on-one friendships that foster understanding.
Break down barriers.
And help us see how.
Beautiful.
Smart.
Funny.
And amazing.
We all are.
And we can use your help.
Go to bestbuddies.org and see how you can get involved.
Because everybody needs a best buddy.
Including me.
Me.
Hope you enjoyed learning about IDD. As you step into your role at Best Buddies, remember, friendship is powerful and you are making a real difference. Check out our resource page for more videos, articles, and info on IDD, and feel free to revisit this video anytime. Welcome to the Best Buddies team.